It's another edition of the player comparison. And speaking about difficulty, this is almost as difficult as they come because we are talking about two defenders that are already iconic in the Premier League and will go on to be remembered, as two of the best players in that position for years and many, many, many more years to come. It's actually a very tough one when you think about it, either as a neutral, as a rival, or anyhow you want to think about it. Nemanja Vidic and Liverpool's Van Dijk. Of course, Virgil Van Dijk is still actively playing for Liverpool, but we already know how good he is, and he's already so good that we can already compare him with some of the greats. And we'll, of course, give our thoughts in this video. I can see Victor giving a smug look because he's a Liverpool fan, of course. So I'm curious to see what he thinks about two of these top players. Anyways, Victor, will start with the heavy hitting. Who was the better player, or who is, since Van Dijk is still playing anyways? But yeah, Nemanja Vidic and Virgil Van Dijk. Who stands
I
out as the top
I
defender?
just feel like you really want Max and I at each other's throats. You picked these two knowing full well what you're doing, and oh man.
No, no apologies on that, to be fair.
No, 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 no. Nor should you apologize, but it's a
Mhm.
proper tough one. But I think I think Max and I will be disagreeing quite a lot on this one. I'll go with Van Dijk for this question. I think he's the better player. He's the better He's the better pure defender, and he's the better orchestrator of play, bringing the ball out from the back, whether it's pinging those long passes onto the right wing, sort of like half across, or playing short passes out from the back. He's more assured, more composed in possession, more composed when it comes to defending. And while I do vividly remember Nemanja Vidic, and he's he had an impressive career, and I liked seeing him play, even though he was a Man United player. I don't even feel like he was the best Man United defender of the Premier League era. That for me goes to Rio
Yeah.
Ferdinand. So I can't pick him over Van Dijk any day of the week, honestly.
Uh, Max, do you agree with that?
Probably, yeah, because when you're finishing top two in Golden Ball competition, only 8 votes behind Leo Messi, of course, you have to be a better player.
Mm. Okay, I don't agree with that analogy, but I mean that works. I do. I mean, it's like saying some because a player, maybe because Eden Hazard never got as high up, in a certain position, and Sadio Mane got there because he had a very brilliant season. Is he better, or did he have a better career? Well, anyways,
At least
that's
his
talk
peak
for
was high.
another. Okay, fair enough. That's talk for another day, I guess. But moving on, and for you, Max, who do you think was more impactful, for their club?
As we to know, I really don't like recent seasons of Van Dijk, and I feel like he was really impactful for the team only for like 3 years, at least for me. It's like 2020 and 2021, something like that. And also, of course, Vidic won a lot more trophies, and he was captain at the half of this time at Man United. So with this overall, I'm definitely going with Vidic.
Okay, more impactful Vidic. Yeah, it's actually a very
Wow.
it's a close call. Yeah, it's a close call. Yeah, to be honest, I'm trying to play the good cop bad cop. Yeah, it's a close call because Vidic was, it was as impactful as they come. But I like to, for me, people, of course, you guys can have different opinions, but I like to look at impact from how important you are, in the sense that if they took you out of that team, would that team survive? And if I look at Vidic, of course, it was great. But if you removed Vidic, I feel like Ferdinand and someone else would have steadied the ship. But if you take out
Exactly.
Van Dijk, if you take out Van Dijk from Liverpool, before he came, they were back to like a top four side until he came and raised the standard back again. So the impact question for me, it's a tough
That
one, but yeah,
that's
that
exactly the thing, because stick Harry Maguire into that Man United team next to Ferdinand and behind Scholes, and they're winning just as many Prem titles.
Yeah, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure Klopp could sign any other defender and they will still win 2 titles.
No,
At least
no.
this tier of a defender.
Mate, not even this Premier League title is happening if they don't have Van Dijk.
Bro, this season
Yeah.
100% they win without Van Dijk.
No, they
No,
wouldn't.
absolutely not.
100% they do.
Absolutely not. I like this is probably where I most ever disagreed with you, but absolutely not. Stick Lindelof or Maguire or De Ligt or anyone in Van Dijk's position in this Premier League in this season of the Premier League for Liverpool, and Liverpool are not winning it.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Anyways, moving on, Victor. I think this one for me, in my head at least, I think this is the easiest question to answer in this player comparison. Who is or was a more complete defender?
Yeah, definitely Van Dijk. You rarely have to see him tackle like a make a slide tackle. He never gets his t-shirt dirty, mate. It's incredible. His sense of positioning, his sense of anticipation, the composure, and the better reading of the game that he has. Then I would say I remember probably a handful of defenders who were as good at anticipating the game as he is, and they're rather from the libero era of the 80s and early 90s. I'm thinking like Baresi and Belodedic. So I really cannot pick Vidic here over Van Dijk. It's just it's miles apart.
Yeah, fair enough. And moving on, Max, if you're a manager, who would you rather have in your team as a defender?
Obviously, I'm going with Van Dijk because we are probably going about their speak, right?
Could have sworn.
So, yeah, as I mentioned, when you're at your peak, you've been top two, probably even the better player that season, as we all remember, because it was kind of strange Messi to have it. So, yeah, talking about their peaks, definitely Van Dijk.
Okay. And I think this last question, I don't know. I don't think anybody should have any contrary opinion or, yeah. But which player's quality is more suited for, the modern day football, Victor?
Yeah, for me, like all the questions, I just pick Van Dijk. It's simply there's absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I'm a Liverpool fan. Genuinely, I've tried to detach that part for this episode, and there's no way I'm picking Vidic. He was a good defender, and I think he would still have a decent career in today's day and age, but nowhere near what he achieved back then. And mostly, yeah, football was a bit different. The teams, the players he had around him were a bit different, especially than whatever the hell is going on today at Manchester United. And Van Dijk has been showing it for over a decade if we count his spells with Celtic, with Southampton. He's just a top defender, and I think he's the at least in top three defenders at the moment in the world.
Okay, so and just on a final note, Victor, since you're raving so high about Van Dijk, in the Premier League history, do you consider Van Dijk the best defender of all time?
I I think
Because Vidic is already considered one of the best of all time, and you've just conveniently placed Van Dijk ahead of him. So, how high up do you rank Van Dijk in Premier League defenders of all time, centre backs at least?
it's honestly a three-way race for me. It's honestly a three-way race, and I might pick one name today and another tomorrow, and the third one the day after. It's Van Dijk, it's Terry, and it's Rio Ferdinand. between those three, like
What about company?
you, very good, very good, but not at the same level, just one tier below. Just like Vidic, one tier below these three. These other three, like I always feel like, okay, sure, I'm a Liverpool fan. Chelsea is Chelsea, United is United. It's
What
natural
of
enemies, right?
yeah.
But you have to respect the quality of these proper legends, and I cannot think of any three better in the history of the
What
Premier
what
League
of
than
what
those
of
two.
Tony Adams and Sol Campbell at their peak?
Tony Adams, like his blunders tended to be bigger blunders than any of those three made. Not that he made them very often, but they were somehow more prominent, if that makes sense. And
Mm.
Sol Campbell, I don't know. It quality wise, he was very good, but I think his legacy is tarnished for me. And you know what I mean.
Obviously, but yeah, it's a very interesting claim to. Maybe we should do a video sometime and see how high up Van Dijk ranks, in the Premier League and compare him side by side with maybe Terry and Ferdinand. And that would be interesting to see, anyways. But for now, the question of this video, Nemanja Vidic versus Virgil Van Dijk, would like our viewers to tell us what they think. This is actually a very close call. You could make points for either player, but we'd love to hear what you think. Who was the better defender? Who was more impactful? Or who would you rather have in your team? We want to hear our viewers. We want to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Tell us if you agree or disagree with us and give us your reason why you think so.